stories we're working on. A fire in Poinsett County claims 3 lives. And
sweeping changes are on the way in the television and telephone industry. I'm Scott Shirey. Up next, I'll show it how it reaches out and touches your everyday life.
Also, police are investigating an apparent murder in southeast Missouri. Stay with us. The news is next.
Live from KAIT 8 TV, good neighbors you can turn to for news, weather, and sports. This is KAIT 8 News.
An early morning fire kills 3 people. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Diana Davis.
And I'm Tony Brooks. That fire in Poinsett County turned deadly. Darcy Thomas joins us live in the newsroom with more on that story. Darcy?
Tony and Diana, firefighters were battling a blaze in Black Oak early this morning. After they had the fire out, they made a grisly discovery. Authorities say they were on the scene at 4 a.m. They say the bodies of Vicki Sullivan and her 2 children, Todd and Audrey, were found burned to death, apparently dying of smoke inhalation. Sheriff Jimmy Carter says firefighters were forced to wait until daybreak to put out the fire because of the heat of the embers. He says the bodies were discovered on the floor next to their beds. Fire investigators were unable to speak with us on camera, but told us over the phone it's possible the fire started by a short in the wiring. The only things left of the Sullivan family were burned springs from a bed and a child's bicycle. Officials say the bodies are now at the medical examiner's office to determine the exact cause of death. Tony and Diana, it will be several days before investigators get those results back.
Darcy, could they elaborate on the cause of the fire?
They say a wiring short could be the possible cause, but again, they won't know for sure until they go through the ruins. Tony and Diana?
All right. Thank you, Darcy. Darcy Thomas reporting from the newsroom.
A pile of burning garbage and high winds almost spelled disaster for some Hoxie residents today. A mobile home turned flower shop was ignited when high winds carried flames several feet from a pile of burning trash. Hoxie Fire Chief Bobby Wade says a group effort saved the day.
By the time they called us out and arrived, the structure was fully involved. We ended up having a call for mutual aid from Walnut Ridge and Alicia Fire Departments to bring water. For the simple fact we run out of water because the fire was beginning to spread to another structure and had been out into the fields.
No one was injured in the blaze.
Authorities are investigating the death of a 35-year-old man in Stoddard County, Missouri. Sheriff Steve Fish says 2 Missouri men are in custody in the killing of Joe Williams. Williams' body was discovered last night in his mobile home near Bloomfield. The Stoddard County Major Case Squad is looking into the death. No details have been released on the cause or motive.
Region 8 will say goodbye to one of its legendary factories tomorrow. The Singer distribution plant will officially close its doors, leaving behind almost 90 years of memories. The plant was first built in 1907 and became a distribution warehouse in 1974. Folks had the opportunity to cash in on a sale of the machines in the plant and share stories.
People from all over northeast Arkansas, southeast Missouri have come in. They've told us stories about their parents and grandparents. Everybody's got an identification here with the warehouse.
The plant operation goes to North Carolina next week.
The director of the Arkansas Employment Security Department says a rise in state unemployment is due to seasonal layoffs and manufacturing plant closings. The ESD says the state unemployment rate increased last month, but was still the best January on record for Arkansas. The new jobless rate is 4.9%. That's up 0.4% from December. The national unemployment rate also rose in January to 5.8%. Up from 5.6% in December. Arkansas's rate was still below the high of last January and is the lowest January rate on record.
A group of Jonesboro residents say they're ready to help the Northeast Arkansas District Fair Board find an alternative site for the new fairgrounds. Members of a group called Unfair say they don't want the new fairgrounds in their residential neighborhood off Highway 49 North. The Fair Board has given Jonesboro residents until February 15th to submit proposals for alternative sites. Members of Unfair say they plan to submit about a dozen potential sites to the board next week.
Some sweeping changes are on the way in the telecommunications industry. Reporter Scott Shirey shows us how the changes will affect what we watch and how we communicate.
Both houses of Congress have approved some of the most drastic changes in the telecommunications business. Most of the changes don't have anything to do with you or me, but some may really reach out and touch you. In the past, local telephone companies had no competition. With the legislation, long-distance companies can come in and hook up to the local market. Rhonda Klein of Southwestern Bell says the competition should be great for business.
We're open to competition. We don't mind companies being able to come in and compete with us on local service. But that was our biggest struggle, was saying, hey, if they can do that, we'd like to be able to get into their market too.
Other items in the new bill include a deregulation of cable TV rates, which Congress promises will lower prices. A blocking chip will be installed in TVs to let parents screen out violence and sex. Local telephone companies like Southwestern Bell can now have long-distance services, and long-distance services like AT&T can have local services. Telephone companies have been wanting to get into the cable market. Now they get their shot. Another major impact that the bill will make is it's the first real legislation involving the Internet. The Internet may seem blurry to many, but it's now in focus for young people who like to use it to communicate. With the bill, sexually explicit materials will no longer be allowed to transmit to minors. In Jonesboro, Scott Shirey, KAIT 8 News.